in the last stream, we were working on getting this multi-block smeltery from the new 1.16 Tinker's Construct up and running. And as promised in the last stream, the very first thing that I would like to work on in today's stream is expanding out this base a little bit, because as you can see right now, things are getting just a little bit too cramped. We've kind of filled in almost all of the floor space that we possibly can, and already the orb that we're in is almost completely full. And so I'm thinking that over in the shop here, one of the new items that has been added in one of the newer updates is the copy-paste gadget here. So this allows you to copy and paste your own structures or others, join the Discord to share your designs or copy other designs. So to purchase this, all we have to do is hit the check mark and hand in 25 C-Bucks. So right now we've got 129 C-Bucks. I will take 25 of those and cash them in for, I believe, a charging station, a template manager, and a copy-paste gadget. Now, thankfully, the copy-paste gadget here is already charged. So, as it mentions in the text here, the official Discord for the server does have a channel that is dedicated to sharing designs, and I'll put a link in the description to the official Discord for this mod pack, because what we're going to do here is we're going to throw down the template manager, and I believe all we need to do is get some paper, which should be fairly easy for us to do. You can make paper by crafting up 3 sawdust, and as we know from our previous streams, we can go ahead and if we have a hammer, we can grab some wood, and we should just be able to go ahead and hammer that down. Perfect. That gets us the wood chippings, and from there we can craft those up into paper. Nice, and a lot of it too. Nice. So over here, I believe what we want to do now is we can put in the building gadget, and we can put in a piece of paper. If I do something like this right here looks very janky, but this is a pre-built multi-block. So this is one of the multi-blocks that I've grabbed from the Discord. This one right here is a wooden sphere. So you can't really tell from the text what the shape looks like, but you can tell what it's made out of. So like here, for example, you could see it says Minecraft : glass. Right here, you can see it says Minecraft : oak logs, and right here, you can see it says Minecraft : oak planks, and it even tells you the number that you need. So we would need to build this 568 oak planks, 36 oak logs, 36 glass, and 9 torches. The idea here is that you can select all of this, either by hitting Control-A or by just clicking and dragging the whole thing. Copy. Back in the game, you hit paste, and that's going to create a template. And you can see right here, it says author Ben Law. Ben Law is the creator of the pack. And if we now click load, that should pull that schematic, which is this right here, from the template to the copy-paste gadget. And so with that, what we need to do now is we need to go to Options, Controls, type in Building, click Category, and we want to set a button, a custom button, for the Settings menu. So I'm going to just set this to like numpad 5 for now, and then click Done. And so if you hold down the button, it will bring up this menu. We want to go with Paste, like so, and now you can see that we're kind of looking to build something here. So let's temporarily just move that out of our hotbar, and let us see if we can't get all of the wood required here. So we needed, what, like 500 planks, which is quite a lot of planks. I'm going to grab just a bunch of these, as well as 36 logs. So we have 36 logs, and we've got a good number of planks. We also need some glass, which I have begun smelting over here, and then we don't really need the torches. The block will still be built, like the multi-block will still be built whether or not you have all of the pieces. So we could build it without the torch here, but given that we do have what it takes to make 9 torches fairly easily, I feel like we might as well go ahead and craft those up. So what we need to do now is we need to find a place to put down this. So you'll see this is kind of the block that we're making. It's a big sphere. And what I want to do is I want to put this down in such a way that it connects, that it kind of lines up with our pre-existing sphere here. One thing that we should do is not drown. And we should probably also quickly grab a bowl of water so that we can get some water breathing going here. So we'll just drop this down, hopefully pick that right back up. And then if we eat that, we should get a good amount of water breathing. From there, I'm going to grab some planks, and I'm going to do a quick bit of building here because I want to try and get this structure that we're going to build to line up. So we're a bit high up here, so we need to go a little further down. And that looks actually pretty good. So I think I'm going to make it a bit further away, just because I do want a little bit of a corridor, kind of between where our building ends and where the next building begins. I think that's lining up though. So if we right click with the copy paste gadget, it's going to take all of the blocks out of our inventory, and oh, it's just a little bit off. It's a little bit too high. But the idea, of course, is that, real quick, let's drop the bowl and let's consume that again if we can, just to give us a bit more water breathing. But the idea here is that it's taken all of the wood out of our inventory, and it has made this multi-block. Now, the center of that is going to be full of water, but that, of course, is where our sponges come in. And thankfully, yes, chat is pointing out that there is an undo function for the copy paste gadget. So if we go to options, again, control, type in building, and then category, I think there is an undo button. There is. Let's set that to number 6. Done. And so if I'm holding this and I hit 6, it tears down that entire structure and gives us back all of the stuff. It is such a powerful mod. I love it. Okay, so let's try that again, but maybe one block lower. So like right here. Is that correct? That does indeed appear to be correct, I think. So if we head on back in and grab a couple of sponges, what we should be able to do is head on into that sphere, soak up all the water that's in there, and then create maybe like a little glass tunnel between our pre-existing sphere and the new wooden sphere. And I'm kind of thinking, chat, that we might do the same thing on the other side as well and get like a little 3-sphere base going, at least for the start of the pack here. A few days later, and we now have 3 spheres making up our base, and I've also gone ahead and kind of reorganized everything to make sure that everything is symmetrical, everything is nicely spaced out, and everything is easily accessible. So when we left off, we were using the copy paste gadget to build these new wooden spheres, and as I just mentioned, we now have one over on the left and one also over on the right. We haven't actually made anything new, but I have kind of reorganized everything in the base. So over here, we have our furnaces, we have our blast furnace and our smoker. Right here is the template manager, the guy that we're using to add our template to the copy paste gadget. Over here, we have our drawer controller, which I've now set up. And I've also thrown down a couple of the 2x2 drawers, as well as 2 of these regular 1x1 drawers as well. Right now, the 2x2 drawers are mostly just holding the items that we have a lot of. If we look in here, you'll see that we've got a few hundred flint, tiny coal, apatite, silkworms. We also have most of the blocks that we're getting from our breakers upstairs: cobblestone, andesite, diorite, smooth stone, stand, and gravel. All that stuff is now in storage drawers, so that hopefully what we can do fairly soon is begin taking all of the stuff from the block breakers and piping it automatically down and around into this drawer controller to kind of finish off and fully automate the generation of all of those materials. I made a few more chests as well. These are currently not organized in any meaningful way. I do plan to hopefully organize these a little bit more between streams, because right now they're a bit of a mess, but that is not top on the list of things to do just yet. And over here we have another nice big sphere, which is currently holding pretty much all of our Tinker's stuff. We have the pot chest, pot builder, and Tinker's station. And of course, we have our rather slim Tinker smeltery. Of course, the nicest thing about having all of this room now is that if we wanted to, we could quite easily fit a much larger Tinker smeltery into this space. And I have a feeling that given how much we are going to have to use the Tinker smeltery going forward, we're definitely going to want to upgrade this sooner rather than later. Back here, we still have the fired crucible with lava underneath it. Right now, we do still have to use a cardboard box to move this over to on top of the flopper. But again, hopefully, one of the things that we're going to do towards the end of today's stream is get basic automation up and running, unlocking things like the basic mechanical pipe, which is going to allow us to automatically pump the lava generated in the fired crucible over into the seared tank, so we don't have to keep doing that manually with the cardboard box. And I think that's pretty much it. I did fix the roof. We had a creeper blow up a few episodes back. That has now been fixed. I do see the phantoms up on the roof there, so we should definitely sleep. And that kind of brings us to the last portion of the base, which is this lower area here, which hasn't really changed much whatsoever. The only thing that's really changed, I think, is over in here, I took out some of the cardboard boxes because, as you can see, we are using a couple of science blocks in the middle here. Now, the base design is by no way finalized. We're basically just using the resources that we have available to us at the moment. But I do kind of like these science blocks, and we do have a good number of them. My goodness. We do still have a good number of them, 43, available in our chest. So I might go ahead and use some more of these, maybe to build the paths or whatnot, going out to each sphere. I'm not too sure. Now, you may have noticed that there were some weird sounds in the background. And the eagle-eyed amongst you may have also noticed that there were some new guys out in the ocean. And the reason for that is that, once again, the pack has updated. The pack's getting very regular updates. And that update has added a bunch of mobs to the ocean, both passive and hostile. And I think the hostile ones are definitely the ones that we need to worry about the most, because I think that the water in general now is much more hostile than it was before. We have what appear to be glow squid, which I think are passive. We have whatever these guys are. I think Twitch chat told me these are called thrashers, which you may have just seen. That guy like ate another fish. I think those guys are definitely going to be hostile. And then up on the surface, we have all of these skeletons that are holding barrels of TNT, which I'm also not going to lie, looks like they might be hostile. They seem like they could definitely be quite dangerous, which makes me think that we should probably look to change the way that we get to the surface. Up until now, we've been using this hatch underwater here, and we've been kind of swimming around up to the surface to get all of the things that are being generated by our block breaker. But I'm kind of thinking it might not be a terrible idea to maybe set up a ladder that goes up through the roof to the surface. And then on top of that, I think for added protection, we should probably look to set up maybe like a cobblestone wall, or potentially even like a fence around our surface platform, just so that all of the mobs that are spawning in the water, especially the guys that are holding like swords and TNT, can't get to us whilst we're on the surface. People in the Twitch chat are mentioning that we do have elevators in the pack, and elevators would be an ideal solution to getting up to the surface. Unfortunately, they do require ender pearls, and as of right now, we don't actually have an ender pearl. But once we do get 2 ender pearls, we can set up 2 elevators, which would allow us to kind of instantaneously travel up to the surface and back. But for now, I think what we'll do as a temporary measure is we will just have a ladder. And I think I'll put it on this side as well to stick with the current, ladder theme that we have. But if we just build kind of a pillar that goes all the way up here, and then build a ladder on that, I'm hoping that we can get a much quicker and easier route to the surface that is hopefully going to be safer as well. The ladder recipe here has been changed a little bit, but it's still fairly easy for us to work with. And the Twitch chat has also pointed out that we do have access to a glass trapdoor now from the upgrade aquatic mod. I don't think this is exactly the same as what we have down on the lower level here. Yeah, this is a frame trapdoor from block carpentry. I believe the way this works is you can make the trapdoor and then kind of use any texture that you like onto that trapdoor, so you can kind of make it look like whatever block you want. But for now, I think the glass trapdoor here is going to be easier for us to make, and hopefully we should just be able to throw that in this block space here. Now, before we go up, I think that we should indeed invest in maybe some fences. We do have over 700 oak planks here, and so if we just quickly grab a bunch of oak fences, we can potentially expand out the platform just a little bit, and then kind of fully surround ourselves with fences to stop any enemies from coming in. I could be wrong, but I don't think any of the current enemies that are on the surface of the water have projectiles. Despite what it may look like with these guys holding TNT barrels, I don't think that they throw the TNT barrels at us. I think they just kind of run at us, hopefully. But I guess we're going to find out sooner rather than later here. So we'll go ahead and break this. And then I'm going to kind of just instantly start putting fences down. Okay, they don't seem too aggressive right off the bat, which is good. I also don't think any of the underwater guys like the thrashers or anything are going to come to the surface. I think really we just have to make sure that none of these guys get to us. Okay, so we don't have a ton of space up here, but we are now fully surrounded by fences. And so these skeleton pirates here should not be able to get to us, I don't think. And if we wanted to, we could go ahead and just kill these guys. In fact, we do have a broadsword down here somewhere, and they might actually be a pretty good source of bones and bone meal, should we need it. Of course, let's not forget to throw down the old glass trapdoor there. Beautiful. And let's have a look. Do you guys drop bones? I want to wait for them to get a little closer so we can maybe pick the bones up if they do drop them. Okay, so we got some grave dust, which is a crafting ingredient for making grave plates, bone needles, and a couple of other items from Corel Tombstone, which is interesting, including some voodoo puppets. And we also got a bone as well. Nice. Okay, so should we want to get more bones going forward, we could potentially try and take on more of these skeleton pirates that are out and about. For now, though, what I want to do, I want to head back down here, and we actually have a few new quests in some of the earlier quest lines. Up here, you'll see that not all of these are green anymore, and that is because if we take a look, a few new quests have been added. So under starting up, we have driftwood planks, created when planks are dropped into water. You'll see I've already completed this quest kind of accidentally by just dropping some of the planks whilst I was working on the new spheres. If we take a driftwood log, though, or if we take a regular oak log, I should say, and drop that into water, which is probably going to be easiest done by just creating a little pool of water, maybe like down here or something. So boom and boom. That gets us a driftwood log. And once again, we have completed chapter 1. Perfect. That's some extra sea books for us. There's also a quest up here under wooden tech for Seabuck's coffee. Who doesn't like a coffee? To make this, we need a glass bottle and 1 Seabuck. So it's a little pricey, at least as far as food items go, because of course it does require one of our very few limited precious Seabucks. However, I will make one just to complete the quest here, and I'm assuming that maybe there's some kind of buff associated with this, because it's not that crazy of a food item. Oh, okay. I was kind of maybe thinking we'd get like speed or potentially like, I don't know, night vision or something. But either way, we got that and we got 4 coins back. So it was worth it in the end. There was also a quest here for a backpack. A basic backpack can be upgraded with various different upgrades during the mod pack. So this can be made with string, a chest, and then full leather. And I think that in the newer versions of the pack, the creator added a way, if I'm not mistaken, to turn saddles into leather. So we can do this with a cutting board. The cutting board is 4 planks and 2 sticks. So let's go ahead and craft one of those real quick. 4 planks and 2 sticks. I've not used the Farmer's Delight mod before. From there, it looks like we need a shear or a sickle, I think it was. Wooden shears, regular shears, or a karma. I see. Okay, we should have, I think, at least 1 pair of shears. We do indeed. And so if we go and grab a saddle, which I think we should have a few of down in the old strainer here, we do. And we also have just 4 leather in general, which is perfect. And so in theory, we don't actually need to use the cutting board, but just to give it a go, if we drop this down like that, and then if I right click it with the shears, look at that, we got leather. Nice. Okay, cool. So we can get leather through the strainer base, which is good to know. From there, we should have, I think, basically everything to make the old backpack here. I think the only thing we don't have on us is a little bit of string. So chest and backpack. How big is this by default? It is actually pretty big. It's like a regular Minecraft chest size. That is pretty good. And I think we should probably keep some of our stuff in here. I kind of like using backpacks to keep tools that I need regularly, but that I don't want to have in my inventory at all times. Things like the buckets, the shears, the hammers. We need these like usually a few times per stream. So it's nice to have them fairly close by. I think I might also do the same with the draw key. This guy right here. And we could probably do it with the copy and paste gadget and the builder's wand as well. So you'll see it does say on here, slot back. So if we click this little icon next to the helmet slot, we open up our baubles menu. And here we have a back slot. And we can just drop our backpack in right there. Now, if we go to options, controls, and type in backpack, by default, it's set to B, but it is already a bound key. So if we go B and then click key, right now, B is actually set to a couple of options. I'm going to get rid of all of the options apart from the open backpack option. So now, as we're walking around, if we hit B, that's going to open up our backpack and show us all the items that we currently have stored in there. So I think this is actually a perfect place to store all of our tools that we don't need all the time, but we do need some of the time. Nice. Now, another item that has been added that I think would have been tremendously useful to me before I cleared out all of these spheres without it. Also, what in the world happened? Oh, is this... Oh, this is probably fire, right? I was a little dubious about putting the lava here. I did watch it for a little while between streams to see if it was spreading and burning things down, but it didn't, so I was assuming it was fine. But it looks like quite possibly there has been a slight bit of burning there. The good news is that fire doesn't last too long when your whole base is fully submerged underwater, so that should be a fairly easy fix. But either way, what I was saying is that over here, there is the sponge on a stick and then the compressed sponge on a stick. So to make this, you need 2 sticks and a sponge. So stick, and sponge. That gets us the sponge on a stick. It says 256 durability. So how does this work? If I go and like right click with this. Okay, so that used up like almost all of the sponge. And I assume that this is maybe not like repairable. Like the regular sponge that we have, we can dry it using the furnace, whereas this you can't. That's interesting though, but you can use it to just clear out a large area, so it acts as a sponge that you don't have to place down. I'm not too sure if that's going to be particularly useful for us, but either way, it's there. And then the final quest here is to make 9 of those, which we can do, albeit it is a little expensive. Sponge on a stick. Presumably this is the same thing, but just can clear a lot more water before you have to replace it. So we'll claim our sea books here. Beautiful. And I think that is pretty much this complete. Oh, it's not, of course. So the final quest here in Wooden Tech is the factory, which actually seems pretty interesting. The quest here says it allows for basic auto crafting. Press the red button to set a crafting recipe and press the green to make it craft that recipe. So this is made with 3 crafting stations, which are made with a normal crafting table and a pattern, along with 4 cobblestone and 2 wooden hoppers. So all of that seems actually very doable. We have a ton of wood, so we should be able to make all of the wooden hoppers that our hearts desire. We'll go 1, 2, and then we'll do something like this, 1 and 2. From there, we'll make a regular crafting table, and we'll craft that up with a blank pattern. I'm hoping we have one of those lying around. We do. We have 33. Beautiful. Oh, and of course, I'm a fool. We need 3 of those. And then factory, boom, and boom. So again, I've not played with the factory mod. This is another new one that I've not played with before. Press the red button to set a crafting recipe, and press the green to make it craft that recipe. Okay, I do want to test something here. Before I do that, we're going to take a little quick detour to upgrade our stone axe head, because right now, my axe is broken, and it is regularly broken, because it's currently made of stone, which means I have to take cobblestone, smelt it into regular stone, and then repair the axe, which is not, terribly difficult, but it's more difficult than it needs to be, especially when flint is a better material, and we have so much flint lying around from all the gravel sifting that we have been doing. So let me try something here. I want to try moving this up by 1 to here, and then I want to try grabbing 2 more wooden hoppers, because I want to know if we can pipe items into the top of this factory, and then extract items from the bottom once they've been crafted. So if I do this, let's try and teach it to auto-craft crafting tables. If I do this, and I click the red button, that's now locked. So now if I put oak planks up here, does that craft me crafting tables? It totally does. Wow, okay, so we'll stop that because we don't actually need to craft crafting tables. But that is a super useful block for us to have so early on in the mod pack. The ability to auto-craft like this, I think, is going to come in tremendously useful, especially even for auto-crafting our sieve byproducts. So once we start sifting automatically, which again, hopefully we're going to be able to do once we work through the basic automation quest line, we're going to start sending things like our sand from the block breakers up on the surface to an auto sieve. We can then extract the things like the copper, the tin, and the nickel that is generated in that auto sieve. We could then pump those into these factories to auto-craft them into chunks. using this recipe here, and then from there we could send the copper chunks directly into something like a smeltery here, and we might want to get multiple smelteries up and running, but we could send the copper directly through to a smeltery, and if we have a lever above a seared faucet, we could automatically extract like blocks of copper or ingots of copper, and essentially fully automate the ingot making process, which would be great. It's something we couldn't do previously, I don't think, at least not so early on, because we didn't have this factory block. But either way, that is wooden tech done. And then finally, before we get on to basic automation, we have ceramics. There's a new quest here, and that is this quest for red snad. So one of the new mods that has been added, and one of my favorite mods, snad. So snad, not to be confused with sand, S-A-N-D versus S-N-A-D, is basically a block that allows you to grow things like sugarcane and cactus faster. And I think it mentions it in the quest book here. Snad can be used to grow cactus and other crops quicker. So if you drop this down and you put some sugarcane on top of it, you can grow that sugarcane much, much faster than you would on regular sand. And the same's true for cactus, and I guess anything else that can grow on sand as well. Oh, okay. So the Twitch chat has also pointed out that there were new items in the shop, which I was completely not ready for here, but we do have new items. The first thing that catches my eye is the Feral Flare Lantern. I really like this. This guy, you place it down and it will light up a massive area. It actually expands its area over time, up to a certain point, of course, but it will light up a huge area from just the one lantern. So I would really like to get one of these sooner rather than later. Not quite sure what we do with the rotten egg. Turns dirt into dreadful dirt. I'm assuming that might be useful at some point in the future. The angel block allows you to build in the air. The one that Twitch chat is wanting me to acquire, though, is the ender pearl. So we could actually grab 2 ender pearls here. Oh, no, we can't. Okay, so it appears you can only buy 1. So we can buy 1 ender pearl, but then we'd have to go and kill an enderman to get the second ender pearl. I was hoping we could buy 2 here to make an elevator, but I'm being told, again, by the pack creator that is not plausible. The good news is, though, that if we see 1 enderman, we can attempt to kill it. If we get 1 ender pearl, we could then buy the second one from the shop and set up a pair of... Oh, my goodness. Okay, the prophecy came true way too quickly. Let me just kind of move out of the way here real quick. I'm going to hide in the water whilst I get my sword. And then even once I have my sword, I guess we can still... just kind of hide out in here, right? It's not the most... It's definitely a very cowardly way of fighting an enderman. But I think there's a non-zero chance that we do get an ender pearl right away here, chat. Don't kill yourself, my friend. Oh my goodness, look at that. Okay, so we actually got an ender pearl right away there. And so I guess, let's go ahead and just grab 15 C-Bucks. From there, we might as well go ahead and purchase this ender pearl here. And with that, we should be able to grab some of our pre-existing string. We need 16 white wool, so we are just missing 1 more wool here, which is for string. Boom and boom. And from there, we can do something like this. And boom, we have 2 elevators. So with that, at this point, I'm kind of thinking I should move my crafting station because I kind of want to have the elevators here then, I guess. And what we can do is we can head on up to the surface and we can put another elevator here. Like that. And at that point, we can get rid of the glass trapdoor, I guess, and just replace that with regular glass. But now, look at that. So the way elevators work, if you walk over them, you can press spacebar to jump up to any elevator above the elevator you're standing on. And you can press shift to go down to any elevator beneath the current elevator that you're standing on. So that ladder was not long for this world, but I enjoyed it thoroughly whilst it was here. Either way, I think that is basically all of those quests complete. Yes, we'll claim our red stand quest. And so now let's have a look at basic automation. To unlock this, I'm assuming we have to complete the quests for Bronze and Constantine, both of which should be fairly doable. Although I think we are going to have to do a little bit of sifting to make this work. We do currently have some nickel and some copper, but if I'm not mistaken... Oh, actually, we should be able to make 1 bronze ingot here, although... what we should probably do is we should probably try and not clog up our smeltery. What I mean by that is that if we're going to make bronze, the recipe is 3 to 1. So it takes 3 copper to make 3 copper and 1 tin to make 4 bronze in the old smeltery here. 3 ingots and 1 ingot. And so if we don't want to end up with like a little bit of tin or a little bit of copper left over, what we should probably do is put 3 copper chunks and 1 tin chunk into the smeltery at once, so we get a nice even amount of bronze. And for that, we are going to have to sift a little bit more red sand, but thankfully we do have a good amount of that over in this drawer right here. So I think I will come and do a bit more sifting in a second here, but we do have that third copper chunk. And the base is so much bigger now that it takes so much longer to get all the way over to the smeltery, but I guess it's quite a nice problem to have nonetheless. And we do have our first batch of bronze here. Now, at the moment, we are pulling everything out via the casting basin here, which I think is probably less than ideal, especially because we're only going to make 8 bronze ingots. We're not going to make the full 9 for a block, and so it's probably worth taking another one of our seared faucets along with the casting table and, of course, our blank sand casts here. And again, now that we have a lot more space, we can do something like this. I assume you can pull out of the back. And if we do this and this with a seared brick and extract, that should hopefully be bronze. We get a bronze ingot. Nice. We'll claim that reward there. And then for Constantan, we need to do the same thing, but this time it is, I think, a 1-to-1 recipe. Yeah, with copper and nickel. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out all of this bronze here. Once we have all of this bronze, we'll then put in 1 nickel and 1, or at least 1 nickel and 1 copper. And not too long later, we now have 1 block and 7 ingots of Constantan. So we can pull our first block out here. And then in order to complete the quest, we are going to have to pull 1 nickel ingot out. So I'm going to quickly switch that to the bottom. By the way, if you pull anything out, it will always pull out whatever's at the bottom in the smeltery. In the smeltery, you can click on things to move them to the bottom. So I've just clicked on the nickel. That moves the nickel to the bottom of the smeltery. From there, we can pull out a nickel ingot. The reason for that is that we have to complete the nickel ingot quest before we can unlock the Constantan. And I'm going to assume that that unlocks this basic mechanical pipe. It doesn't. It's quite possible that we... Oh, no, of course, we don't have the Constantan, Isaac, you fool. Let me do... Wait, do I have the Constantan? Oh, it's in the chest. Let's grab that Constantan, which is hiding in this chest, which I have foolishly trapped. There we go. Boom and boom. So now, hopefully, we have access to basic automation. We do indeed. Beautiful. And we also have 1 molten nickel left in there. So I'm thinking if we put in the copper chunk and we put the nickel back in, that should give us 9 more molten Constantan, so we can pull another full block out as well. All right, so we'll take that. And then let's see if we don't have what it takes to make the configurator here. So niter dust-wise, also we should eat some food as well. Do I have any cooked apples lying around? I don't, but I do have some niter dust, which is beautiful. We do have some cooked salmon, and I will get some apples cooking over here for future Isaac. Those those like sonic waves that are being shot at me by the thrasher there are definitely a little concerning. But either way, we do need to put down the crafting station again. And I guess for now, I'll put it like right about here. And then we'll do niter along with, I think it was Constantan and bronze. Maybe the other way around. Indeed, that gets us the configurator as well as the C-book. And I think the first one that we're definitely going to want is the basic mechanical pipe, which again is 2 bronze and 1 niter. So bronze, bronze, niter. I think the logistical pipe was the same, but with Constantan. Oh, no, that's a pressurized tube. What was the logistical pipe? It was cinnabar. Thankfully, we got a lot of cinnabar. So boom, boom, and boom. That gets us 8 basic logistical transporters. These are basically fluid pipes in the form of the mechanical pipe. These can move water and lava. And we also have the logistical transporters, which are item pipes. These can both be upgraded. Mechanism does have multiple tiers of pipes. It has basic, advanced, elite, and ultimate, I believe, are the 4 tiers. Right now, we can't go past basic, but in the future, hopefully we'll get there. And now that we have the configurator as well, what we should be able to do, for example, is head on back around to our smeltery here. We'll figure out the fire maybe before next stream, but if we do this, we can get rid of the flopper. We can put down a basic mechanical pipe. Let's quickly go and grab one of our compressed, crushed diorite blocks, which I think we do have. We have 5 of those lying around. If we take one of those and we put that into our crucible, that should get us another bucket of lava. And what we should be able to do here is, you'll see right now we're currently set in the bottom left there to item mode. So what we want to do is we want to hold shift and scroll wheel until we get to configurable fluids, because we're using the fluid pipe. Once you're in fluids mode, you can shift right-click on the side you want to extract from. By default, it sets it to push. We want to set it to pull, so right-click again. That is now set to pull mode, and so now it's going to pull any liquid, in this case lava, out of the fired crucible along and directly into the seared tank. And so now if we head back in here, you'll see that we've gone up to 1.6 buckets worth of lava in this tank here. And so going forward, no longer do we have to cardboard box up the fired crucible, pick it up without dropping it into the lava, and then move it on top of the flopper. We can just put in the crushed diorite. In fact, we could even put a hopper on and just put like a bunch of crushed diorite into the wooden hopper above the fired crucible, and we would have, you know, enough lava to last us quite a while with our smeltery, which is super nice. Now, I think the final thing that I would like to do here before we wrap up for today is I would like to get maybe another batch of logistical transporters. The reason for this is that, as I mentioned before, what I'd like to do is I'd like to begin extracting items out of these block breakers, because you'll see that we're starting to spew items on the ground. The reason for that is that our block breakers are full. And so essentially what I'm thinking here is I'd like to do something like this. We're going to set all three of these to extract. So we pull everything out of these block breakers, and then it might be a little risky, but I want to pump those items down and around into the back of the draw controller. That's the idea. That way we can begin automatically taking all of the blocks that we're generating and kind of just sending them around into the draw controller. So let's do this, and then let's go ahead and break this hopefully fairly quickly. We do have water breathing here, which is good. And then, again, ideally, we're just going to run this up to the surface. It's going to be a little janky. Oh, they do blow up. Okay, well, so the good news, chat, is that they don't throw the TNT at you. The bad news is that they do blow up next to you. They're essentially like aqua creepers, which might be the most terrifying thing I've ever heard of. By the way, when you die, you get a key, and if you right-click that key onto the gravestone, you get your stuff back. So we do get our stuff back, which is good. Unfortunately, though, we didn't get that pipe hooked up. I guess mostly due to the fact that we kind of actually ran out of pipe. Do we have what it takes to make another batch? Oh, yeah, we've got what it takes to make loads of these, which is perfect. So let's see. I think we can make this work. Like I said, it's going to be a little janky. And there were so many of these guys with the TNT. I don't know if there's much I can do about that. We could definitely do it looking to get some kind of... I wonder if I can, like, bait them into blowing up. Oh, of course, I can't go any higher either because of the gas. I don't know if we can bait them into blowing up. They're quite slow. I'd prefer not to die again. I thought I heard one to my right there. I'd also love to get this back, but I guess it's going to have to wait. Okay, I think I can hook this up. We're going to take a bit of damage there. That's fine. This is what Soulstone looks like, apparently. It's quite possible, actually, though, as well, that those guys could maybe, like, jump on that and walk over here. That seems maybe a bit unlikely, but let's give this a go, shall we? So we're going to swap back to item mode. Oh, yeah, look at that. They're trying. We'll set this to extract. Extract and extract. You'll see by default they started going this way. That's because this wasn't set to extract, but now all these are set to extract. The items should make their way around, down, across, and then down again. By the way, if you get this death point once you've died, you can press J and then go to waypoints and then just remove that death point if you want to hide your shame. But that is working its way down, and so we should start to see those items very soon get pumped into the draw controller. As mentioned before, the draw controller will distribute those items into their corresponding draws. We are going to run into a problem if one of the draws fills up. Like, for example, we're very close, actually, to filling up on sand here. When that happens, I don't think the mechanism pipes are very good at, like, working with that. The items will either spew out or they'll bounce back. I think with mechanism... Oh, my goodness. I think with mechanism pipes, the items just bounce back, which is less than ideal. So what we're probably going to want to do is either invest in bigger draws for the items that we're getting a lot of, and by that I just mean like these 1x1 draws so we can hold a lot more sand, or we're going to want to start looking at making some of the upgrade kits for the storage draw, which shouldn't be too difficult. I think we can make obsidian storage upgrades here. These increase the base storage amount by 2 times their original value. And so if you put a tier 1 storage upgrade into a 1x1 draw, that would increase the amount that draw can hold from 2,048 up to 4,096. Whereas if you did it in a 2x2 draw, it would increase each slot's capacity to 1,024, up from 512. So yeah, we'll probably look at tweaking that. And between streams, I might go ahead and put down a few more regular draws for things like sand and cobblestone that we're getting a lot of. Again, you can see the sand there is done, and you can also see sand going back, which I think if we left it, that would cause problems, because I think what's going to happen now is the sand is just going to bounce backwards and forward, just going, never leaving the pipe, and over time that is going to cause a lot of lag if we don't take care of it. Either way, chat, for now, we are out of time, and so I'm going to wrap up the Seaopolis portion of today's stream there.